I recently facilitated a meeting of some community members coming together to work on a project. And during the introductory part, as they were introducing themselves, one of the participants broke down crying, talking about her special needs daughter. Immediately, the rest of the group sort of came to her emotional support, and it became a defining moment for this group, which probably came together as a group and was more productive sooner than any group that I've ever worked on. Unfortunately, that's the exception. And too often in these collaborative groups, everyone feels like they kind of have to put a mask on and act in a way that they think everyone expects them to act. Too often that means not really addressing some of the real issues or the sensitive topics. And even when they do, it often means staying in your appointed role and not wavering from your party line. And consequently, not much of any real meaning happens in these collaborative groups. By being real, by being authentic, you can change the dynamic of a group from one like that to one like the one I mentioned at the very beginning of this talk. And part of the reason for that is because by being vulnerable, by taking that risk, you are being authentically human. And our humanity is one of the things that we have in common. Even if we may be different political parties or different points of view, we are all human, and that common affiliation can really help us to make progress, even when there are some tough conflicts to be dealt with. Now, I'll give you one example where that common humanity helped out, which is a situation. It was a bi-state group that was working on some environmental issues, and this group had been working for years in a highly contentious fashion and had made basically no progress for years and years and years. And they were going to try one more time. And the second day of this two-day meeting, I brought out my guitar and I began to sing. I was the facilitator, and I began to sing a song that I'd made up that kind of lampooned some of the key participants. And it was a little risky. I'm not sure I would do it again. But as it turned out, everybody laughed. And they all shared this laughter together. And nobody laughed louder than the people who were being lampooned. In fact, they had a kind of a sense of pride about it. And what happened the rest of that day was that they were incredibly productive. And at the end of the day, they said, you know, we've not made this kind of progress in 10 years as what we've done in the last 2 days. So I think it was that sense of being authentic and their common humanity that was able to bring them together and to really address some very tough issues that they had had in the past. And it reminded me that when you want to do something real in one of these groups, it's almost essential that you be real in order to get